Well, I start out part two with why did you name, aka title your book, Hot Chocolate Why You So Cold. So when we left off in part one, I was just getting into the drug issue with my husband and me being kidnapped by the drug dealers. But see, you might be thinking that he owed for drugs. No, he owed drug dealers, not for drugs. Let's go back to the backstory. These people had started a business, and but because of their history they couldn't have the business in their name, so they would get somebody that has a clean record, most like my husband and this guy that was before him. The guy that was before him had a clean record, but these guys was driving navigators and all kind of different type of cars, and the guy that the business name was in rode the bus, and I was like, what? So finally, he got tired of living that lifestyle where, like my mom said, from the South, fattening frogs for snakes. So he decided, hey, I'm just going to walk away. And he did. He walked away. They never heard from him again. Just poof. Okay, in comes steps my husband. So he steps in and be the front guy, even though he did have a drug problem, in the past, but he's pretty much clean. Yeah, I guess. But anyway, yeah, so he steps in and he becomes the what you can say CEO of the company, and then he wanted me to get involved. I'm like, oh no, oh no, 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 nope, not me. So he gets involved, and his job is to make sure that all the employees that are paid under the table, off the books, or however you want to say it, there's no record of it, and he would go to each site at where they worked at and pay them cash. And I was just like, yeah, that don't seem legal. But anyway, that's what happened. So, with that being so loose for someone that has a drug problem, you handling a lot of amount of cash. I mean, you paying these guys for weeks, that they work. So his idea was to create a ghost employee. Yeah, a ghost employee. And this employee actually was on the payroll. It was so funny. It was on the payroll. But by the time the drug dealers found out that this was a ghost employee, he was already in debt, $10,000. So when they found out about it, they were looking for him. So he called me one day and told me to come to Lower Manhattan. Yeah, this is New York. Called me to come to Lower Manhattan to bring him some clothes. I'm like, why? He said, because I won't be home for a couple of days. Like, what? What? What happened? So he said, they looking for me for some crazy stuff that I didn't do. Some crazy stuff you didn't do. Mind you, I didn't see $10,000 come through our house. So he started telling me the story and this and that and the other and that. The reason that he stole the money was so that he wouldn't be taking money out of our household to do drugs. At that time, he had $1,000 a day drug habit. So he was like, okay, well, this was really protect us at home. I'm like, okay. But anyway, fast forward. They come to where he's located at via his best friend told them where he was. So they went there, and I was just coming there to bring him some clothes so he can go wherever he's gonna go. They saw me, and each one of those grabbed one of my arms and said, come with us. We're not gonna hurt you. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So they was telling me the story about he owed $10,000 and this and that and the other. But they drove me around New York, and they picked up their little things from different people that was on the street for them, and they kept telling me they wasn't gonna hurt me, and they didn't. They took me to this place called Jackson Hole, which is a place that has big hamburgers that's so big you had to open your mouth so wide you would get splits on the side of your mouth, literally. Then they took me to this fancy chocolate place in Manhattan. I mean, they basically rolled me around and treated me like royalty. So I was really impressed. So they dropped me off, and they said that they was going to have somebody doing shift work outside of our home to make sure that if he came by, they wouldn't going to rely on me to tell him they came by. So sure enough, I opened the door. Look, there's a guy sitting there in the car, tipped his hat to me. I'm like, this is some real life law and order stuff that I would not wish on nobody. But I learned a lesson, and you got to listen to part three.